"24 hours ago I was in Sydney in the big smoke, seeing patients last week at the practice at Mascot, in my suit, and now I'm here in the Northern Territory in Alice Springs, ready for what's coming. Tomorrow there is cultural orientation, and then Wednesday is clinical orientation, and then after that I drive up, it's a 5-hour drive to Tennant Creek where I will be doing my placement. I saw an ad in Australian Doctor magazine about RAHC and about these placements, and I had been thinking for some years about maybe going overseas to do some kind of work as a doctor, but I thought to myself that there is quite a lot to do in my own community in Australia, and so then when my youngest son finished school last year, I thought to myself it's time to go now and do it now. So here I am. I think it will be interesting for me to go to Tennant Creek and do this. I'm going to learn a lot of new things, and I enjoy learning things. I'm going to be out of my comfort zone, and I think that's a really good thing to do throughout your life. And it's just going to be a really wonderful experience. I'm going to learn about Indigenous people, I hope. I'm going to be in this beautiful land, so I think they're things I'm going to take home with me as well. Generally, my day consists here of primary health care, so it's a general practice in the health centre here at Tennant Creek. There is a base hospital here, so the emergencies go there. We start at 8 o'clock. The bus goes to the camp and picks up the Aboriginal people and asks them if they'd like to come to the doctor, and they come and see us. Usually speaking, they would see the Aboriginal health worker or the nurse first, and then if they need prescriptions or they have complex issues, they see the doctors. The other workers help us with the health assessments and care plans and things like that, and we sign off on those. The type of disease that we're dealing with here, there are some unusual things that I don't normally deal with in Sydney, such as strongyloides, trachoma, melioidosis. So I've had to learn about those things, and I was a little bit fearful before I left that there would be a lot to know and would I be up to it, but it's been a really interesting journey in that regard. At home, you tend to get into your own area, you tend to skill up and up in what you already know, so it's been really wonderful to learn about all new things. And of course, the chronic disease burden is very great here. People with very severe diabetes, kidney disease, rheumatic heart disease. It's not unusual to see a diabetic with a sugar of 19 or 20, HbA1c of in their 90s. So that's a big change for me to see people in that situation. RAHC looked after all the arrangements really well for me, took care of all that had to be organised about me coming here. The cultural and clinical orientation that I did for 2 days at the beginning of this placement was really excellent and stood me in really good stead to deal with the diseases I've had to, and to deal with Indigenous people. So I had a little bit of an idea what was going on in that regard before I came here. I've met so many interesting and really lovely people over the last 3 weeks, heard so many interesting stories, and I'd like to thank everybody for that. It's been really wonderful. Living in Sydney is great. I'm really happy to be back with my family, my friends and my patients. I had doubts about doing the placement, about having the expertise clinically and socially for it, but RAHC were really supportive, and so it wasn't a problem. Staff and patients at Tennant Creek were extremely supportive and looked after me all the way. And they seemed very appreciative of me coming, even though it was only for a short time, just for the 3 weeks. If you're thinking of doing a placement in the Northern Territory, I would say go ahead and speak to RAHC. They will help you from before the placement, during and after, and you won't regret it.